Welcome back to Movies Recap Repo. Today we're diving into a sci-fi horror cult classic that will have you questioning every room you enter. 6 complete strangers, each with a vastly different personality, awaken to find themselves in a strange, cube-shaped room. They have no memory of how they got there, only a dawning sense of dread as they realize this is no ordinary prison. Each wall of the room has a square hatch in the center, suggesting a way out. One of the men, a gruff and impatient individual named Quentin, decides to take charge and bravely opens a hatch, stepping into the adjacent room. Almost immediately, a grid of razor-sharp wires flashes through the new chamber, dicing an unseen object into tiny, perfect cubes. It's a gruesome and terrifying warning: this place is designed to kill. The group quickly understands that they are trapped in a gigantic, complex maze, a seemingly endless series of interconnected cubic rooms. Some rooms are safe, while others contain lethal, technologically advanced traps that can slice, burn, or dissolve anyone who enters. Among the strangers is Levin, a young mathematics student with a gift for numbers. She notices a series of three-digit numbers inscribed on the threshold of each doorway. She theorizes that these numbers are the key, a code that can help them distinguish safe rooms from trapped ones. If a room's number sequence contains a prime number, it's a death trap. This discovery gives the group a sliver of hope. With Levin's mathematical prowess, they can now navigate the deadly maze with a degree of caution, avoiding the obviously lethal chambers. Also in the group is a doctor named Holloway, a free-spirited conspiracy theorist who believes the cube is a government project. Then there's Worth, a quiet and cynical man who seems to know more than he lets on. There's also Kazan, a man who appears to be autistic and nonverbal, often lost in his own world. Finally, there's Ren, a seasoned escape artist who has broken out of 7 prisons, but even he is baffled by this architectural nightmare. Using Levin's prime number theory, the group begins their slow, perilous journey from one cube to the next. They test each room first by tossing a boot through the doorway, a grim but necessary ritual to check for hidden traps. The tension is unbearable. Each new room is a gamble, and a single miscalculation could mean a horrific end for all of them. Their first casualty is Ren. Confident in his abilities, he enters a room that Levin deemed safe, only to be sprayed with a corrosive acid that dissolves him from the face up. The horrifying incident proves that Levin's theory is incomplete. There's another layer to the puzzle they haven't figured out, and the numbers hold a deeper secret. Panicked and grief-stricken, the survivors retreat, realizing the cube is even more sophisticated and deadly than they imagined. Their trust in each other begins to fray as the psychological toll of their confinement mounts. Worth, who had been brooding and silent for most of the journey, finally breaks down and confesses a terrible secret. He admits that he was one of the architects who designed the outer shell of the cube, though he claims he had no idea of its true, nightmarish purpose. He explains that the numbers aren't just for identifying traps, they represent Cartesian coordinates. The entire structure is a massive cube, 434 rooms on each side, floating in a vast, empty space. Levin, building on this new information, has a breakthrough. She realizes the numbers not only indicate coordinates but also reveal the room's movement patterns. The entire structure is constantly shifting, with rooms moving through a complex, predetermined sequence. This is a game changer. If they can decipher the permutation patterns, they can calculate their way to the edge of the giant cube and find the one designated exit, the bridge room. Suddenly, Kazan, who had been mostly unresponsive, begins to react to the numbers. He seems to be performing complex calculations in his head at lightning speed, far faster than Levin can manage. The group realizes Kazan is not a liability but a savant, a human calculator with an extraordinary ability to process prime factors. He is the key to solving the cube's most complex mathematical puzzles. With Kazan's help, Levin can now perform the massive calculations needed to map their path through the shifting labyrinth. The group feels a renewed sense of purpose, moving with more confidence towards what they hope is their salvation. However, the psychological pressure continues to grow. Quentin, the aggressive and dominant leader, becomes increasingly paranoid and unstable, his frustration boiling over into violence. He sees the others not as teammates but as obstacles. His sanity unravels, and he begins to turn on his fellow prisoners, convinced that only one person can make it out alive. As they get closer to the edge, the group finds themselves in a room that was previously occupied by Ren, their fallen comrade. Seeing his boot on the floor pushes Quentin further over the edge, cementing his descent into madness. He becomes a new kind of trap, a human threat just as dangerous as any of the cube's mechanical ones. He attacks Worth and threatens Levin, forcing Holloway to intervene. In a tense confrontation near an open hatch, Quentin and Holloway struggle. As Holloway dangles over the precipice into the dark void below the cube, she pleads with Quentin for help, but he coldly lets her fall to her death. Now there are only 4 survivors: Worth, Levin, Kazan, and the dangerously unhinged Quentin. They know the bridge is close, but they also know Quentin will not let them all escape. They finally reach the edge of the giant cube and find the bridge room. It's a single, stationary chamber connected to a blinding white light, the exit. Just as they are about to cross, Quentin appears, armed with a piece of a door handle he'd been sharpening into a makeshift weapon. He stabs Levin, wounding her badly, and then impales Worth, who was trying to protect her. In a final act of sacrifice, a mortally wounded Worth grabs onto Quentin's leg, pinning him in the doorway between the bridge and the shifting cube. As the rooms realign, the brutal mechanism of the maze grinds Quentin in half, ending his reign of terror. Only Kazan remains unharmed. He calmly walks across the bridge and steps into the blinding light, disappearing from view. He is the sole survivor, the only one to escape the mathematical hell. The final scene shows him walking into the light, but what awaits him on the other side is left ambiguous. Did he find freedom, or just another level of the puzzle? The cube's purpose, its creators, and the reason these specific people were chosen remain a haunting mystery. Thanks for watching Movies Recap Repo. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another video. See you in the next one.